Hey, everybody. Our next guest is a very funny guy. He's a TV, a radio show host, an author, and a comedian who could be seen on the great Gutfeld show on Fox News. And his book, Mean Dads for a Better America, is available now wherever good books are sold. Here he is, everybody. The great Tom Shillue. Tom, how are you, sir? How's everything?
All right. I can hear that applause from here.
It's great talking to you, man. How are you doing these days in you know the kind of temperature of the world right now? How's it going for you?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to just shelter it out here. I'm living in Westchester now, in Bronxville, and I've been having a good time with my family. The kids just went off to camp, so finally we've been separated. My wife works at the camp. The kids are at the camp. So I'm doing the best I can. I'm getting a lot of exercise. I run every day. I'm getting a lot of time on my bike. I'm highly annoyed by the shutdown. I think that I'm on if there's anybody that's to the, I don't know if you want to say to the right of me on this, because it's so weird that for some reason, right-wing people are over the shutdown, but left-wingers just they love it and they want to stay shut down and into the fall and everything. It's over. I mean, COVID's over in New York. It's done. Right. It's so silly that people are walking around still in this sense of panic. But I'm about as least panicked as you can be about this situation. I mean, I think that there's a massive overreaction. I didn't agree with the shutdowns, but I'm not going to complain about it. There's a lot of people starting fights in stores. I don't do that. I just don't go to the stores. I ride around on my bike. I run. I don't wear a mask. And I don't go into a store because I don't want to get in mask fights with people. And I don't want to wear a mask. So I'm riding this whole thing out.
Are you going to allow the government to tell you have to wear a mask?
And I also think there's a bit of hypocrisy, as we all know. It's been discussed a lot about with the masks and no masks, that the reporting of the masks as always seems to be during a right-wing thing. So like when they all gather around for Mount Rushmore, that's a big deal. But when they're rioting without masks, or if they're protesting without masks, then you don't hear so much hoopla on that end. So it's just kind of weird how they pick and choose, most of the time who they're going to point the finger at when it comes to that mask issue, and it's making it into a political issue.
Yeah, that's where it all came off. I mean, if anyone believes public health officials after that nonsense letter they wrote saying that protests are good for public health and they encourage protests, but people can't go to restaurants and they can't go to churches. I mean, it just shows you, no one should ever believe these public health officials again.
This demonstration showing most face masks are useless at trapping or blocking moisture.
Again, maybe it's another silver lining, but I think that in the future, it's not going to be everybody, because obviously there's about half the country really has a romantic notion of these control freaks. They really love it. But the other half won't stand for it anymore. And they better not. They better not stand for another shutdown, because there's going to be more viruses coming around. And I mean, if they try to do this again,
I think you'll see some major pushback if they try to quarantine again or shut down cities again. It didn't. I don't know if it really did anything positive. It didn't seem to change anything, really.
No. And again, you'll see, this is why guys I follow like Alex Berenson, also who's very good on this, is Ann Coulter. And she's hilarious too, because she really picks on the president, because I am not happy with Trump in this whole thing. I think he's really dropped it. I know he has the sense, you get the sense that he wants to be part of this crowd, but he listened to these people way too much. So Trump is not on my good list right now. And which is why I think his approval rating is down low, because right-wingers and generally freedom-loving people aren't too happy with him. So, of course, that takes off, a big chunk of his support there. So that's why his approval ratings are down, not because the country's soured on him, because pretty much his base isn't happy with him. They're happy lately with this stuff about the schools. He came out, he said schools have to be open.
Right.
So hopefully he'll start pushing back. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, that's why now we have a third candidate in the running now with Kanye.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about joining the birthday party.
Making sure that you all are entertained.
Where are you on the Kanye? He came out today with.
I mean, he's an interesting guy, and it's interesting because when he mentioned a couple of things. He talked about abortion. It's killing black people. That was a huge thing that came out of Kanye. Now, that a major pop star coming out and saying that abortion is bad for the black community, that seems like that would make a headline. That didn't make a headline. He also said he's not impressed with the Democrats and Joe Biden. Seems like that might be a headline. It wasn't a headline. He also said he's taken the red cap off. The headlines, Kanye comes out against Trump. So it's just funny, people pick and choose what they want to focus on.
You know what I don't like about, it's not that I don't like, what I need Saturday Night Live to improve on, or what I need the liberals to improve on is, if he don't look good, we don't look good. This is our president. He has to be the freshest, the flyest planes, the best factories, and we have to make our core be in power. We have to bring jobs into America, because our best export is entertainment and ideas. But when we make everything in China and not in America, then we're cheating on our country.
As a comedian and a satirist such as yourself, your whole career been doing this with the Daily Show to Fox News, Red Eye. Is the temperature the way it is now make your job harder or easier? Because to be funny and to make light, I love you, like your Schiff impression.
Jingle bells, Batman smells. Adam laid the foundation for impeachment. Why is he still in office? I wish he'd go away.
Let's try something else. How about a G?
Yes.
I just saw a little Schiff.
Just when I start thinking about Schiff, I start doing it. I'm like,
Read him and weep.
And it's funny
So
because
good.
I am not even now I'm doing impressions for Gutfeld, but I'm not really an impressionist in that sense. I never was, or I never did that in my stand-up.
Schiff tries stand-up comedy.
I just flew in from California. It's a long flight. 5 hours to be exact.
I always loved, Dana Carvey, because he would do impressions that were not even real. They weren't even close. He used to do, when I was younger, he was on SNL, and he would do George H.W. Bush, the first Bush. And he was just, it didn't make any sense. He didn't sound at all like Bush. He sounded like Dana Carvey, but it was this weird kind of character, and it was somehow, he got some weird essence of him.
Where today, 400,000 brave Americans await my order to annihilate Iraq.
So when I started doing Greg said, hey, do you want to do the Schiff? And I said, okay. So I started sending him some videos. And instead of trying to really be like him, because he doesn't have that, he's a little bit of a dullard,
Yeah.
I was kind of just creating this man who goes, ooh, and Schiff doesn't really do that. He's not always humming and talking to himself, but, oh, yes, oh, Greg Gutfeld. And somehow when I saw the video, I was like, see, it's almost like a Dana Carvey take on Adam Schiff, It's not, I don't really sound like him. I don't, particularly, he's not, he's just a weird character. So I just made him even weirder.
And you cornered the market on him.
I know.
I think
who else does it?
Yeah, just like Carvey used to do. I think everyone who does them is now doing you.
So stressed. Need to relax, Adam.
Because I'll even go, hello. I'll do my best to do it.
And I've been doing Biden for his show too.
I got a friend named Corn Pop. He knew about my hairy legs, but a guy with hairy legs can't eat syrup. You know that. I'm serious.
I discovered that with my Snapchat filter. I did the old age filter. So when I do the old age filter, I don't really look like Biden. But then if I squint, and I make this face and I do the old age, it looks kind of like Biden. So I started making videos and sending them to Gutfeld, and he just started putting them on the air.
That's
and
awesome.
then like people are like, hey, who does the makeup for that? I'm like, it's not makeup. It's just the Snapchat filter. I do them right here in this room, you know?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, now I feel like the country's kind of, at least I feel like we're getting through it now, but a couple weeks, man, it's been really dark times. And I you know, it's hard to, I think you guys and Gutfeld and that whole group do a great job of kind of finding the satire, the funny.
Yeah.
But
and
it's got to be difficult.
Hunter, is that you?
It's Adam Schiff.
Never heard of her.
Well, it's not sketch comedy. It's not like Daily Show type satire. It's more like we used to do on Red Eye, which is introduce the story, Greg gives his take on it, and then he goes to the panel. And then we'll do a couple of silly videos in there.
Point out, Lou, is something that's relatively safe and happens on a fairly regular basis. Oh, my God.
You know, but the audience loves it. The show it's not hard to do. Obviously, we have no budget. It's, you know, Fox News, it's not exactly, there's no writing staff other than the 5 people who are on the staff, these Fox News people, and Greg, and, you know, Tommy O'Connor, he's the producer, great guy, and he does other stuff with me, and he used to do Red Eye. But the crew is just of people who like to have fun. Greg likes to have fun. They throw it together. It's hilarious.
That is so unnecessary.
So to speak of my job now, it's much easier that I have the Fox News team, that I have Gutfeld. Greg and I go out and do live shows now. We have the audience there. They're all Fox News fans. They love it. But without that, if I didn't have the Fox News platform, my career would be very difficult because I would have to just be, first of all, I would hide. I wouldn't give anyone any opinions at all because everyone would be against me. You know, like all the people of the world would be trying to cancel me if I voiced my opinion, which they kind of are now. Like so many left-wingers, they're so self-serious and they're just, they've gone loony and they're like, oh, Shillue, forget him. He works for Fox News. Like they just write you off. You know what I mean?
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly. The world is messy.
I don't think I would be doing very well if I didn't have that platform because I probably would try to be like a totally non-political comic, which my stand-up was never really political. So I'd just be out there still trying to work in that world. And, you know, it used to be very... Back in the 90s, people were like, oh, Shillue, you're right wing, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm totally right wing. Then nobody really cared, you know? Now they're like, oh, you know, like it's the dark side.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
The thing that changed was that Hollywood, you know, people at Comedy Central, they were always liberal, you know? But now they're like, they really are, they're at war. Like they won't work with anyone, you know? Yeah, they won't work with anyone who's conservative.
And that's crazy. It's like reverse of everything that they used to go against, you know, like, you know, when people were blacklisted back in the day for being communists and then they were all anti, you know, you can't blacklist people. But now it's reversed and it's okay to blacklist people if you're on the right, if you're not a communist. So it's kind of weird the way the pendulum swings. And, you know, I don't know if there'll ever be a uniform status quo. I think it's always going to be one way or the other.
Yeah.
And one thing I always loved about Red Eye and what you do is that a lot of people have a misconception that right-wing people cannot be funny, like genuinely funny and have, you know, real hilarious inside jokes and takes on the world. And I love that you are able to do that. Do you ever find that misconception?
Well, I mean, it's more than a misconception. It's patently absurd. First of all, people on the left obviously have lost their sense of humor about anything. they're people who used to be comedians. They never laugh anymore. They're just, they're online complaining about power, justice, and everything else. I mean, they've lost it completely.
If I found out right now that one of my good friends from high school was planning on voting for Trump,
you would?
I would really pull back from the friendship. That's such a huge, huge line.
It's a value-defining
value and just
character.
Yeah, all of it.
But right-wingers, I mean, they always were able to laugh at themselves. And some of my favorite comics, guys like Nick DiPaolo. And
Trump actually had a great idea he couldn't have come up with this line. Somebody must have given him this line. They were saying, the press a couple weeks ago, a wall is medieval. And Trump goes, well, a wheel is medieval. We're still using that. It's a great fucking line.
I mean, who is a better club comic than Nick DiPaolo? You know?
Exactly.
It's like that kind of energy used to be all over the stand-up world. I mean, when I started, I was in Boston. I did a few open mics at like Nick's Comedy Stop in Boston, and I just barely started in Boston. And then I moved to New York. But that scene in Boston, I mean, those guys were all like, I don't even know if they were right-wing or not, but they definitely would not be welcome. That Boston comedy scene.
Right.
They would not be welcome in today's very politically correct world.
Jimmy Carter? What, if I don't like Reagan, I have to like, therefore it follows I like Carter. Fuck you. You're like a college student, aren't you? The college students these days are real hip. I support the president. I've got a computer in my dorm. I've never gotten late. I got drunk once. I'm pretty sure the beer was bad. Fuck you. Fuck your family.
Yeah, those guys were in Boston in like the 80s and 70s and 80s scene. Yeah, those are that was before this whole PC culture. And
I mean, I feel like Long Island still has that. You know, you go out to Long Island and you get that vibe.
I like to sleep with Amish women. That way I can't call them the next day.
The scene in New York, just the clubs, it's very oppressive. So I'm lucky that I'm not just running around begging for spots now, that I've carved out my own thing.
Right.
But you know, I mean, it's to some extent, yeah, I'm glad I don't need to be a part of this world. I don't even like anything anymore. I go to movies and I'm like, why did I even want to be with any of these people? You know what I mean?
I know it's turned. They're doing the opposite to a lot of people, the left, with their agenda. And like when you look at the woke celebrities, I think it's turning more people off than they realize, you know, and then now the left is starting to eat each other. When you start to see, you know, Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, you know, getting targeted, and also
they go after him. They go hard.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy wants to do a non-political show, but the woke mob won't let him. They come after him hard, and they, you know.
And Jimmy's a friend of yours.
Yeah.
Like, does he ever discuss any of that with you? Does he ever say, hey, man, what should I do? Should I stay away from politics? Or
No, but the great thing about Jimmy is he knows I'm on Fox News. I'm right across the street. So when we come over and we sing, he's like, how you doing? How's things over there? You know, like, he doesn't care. He does not. He really is not a political guy. But I mean, it's just to his credit that he still has me hanging around, just because he's a good guy and he likes. From the beginning, we had that bit and we started singing together.
Yeah,
me,
the barbershop.
A.B. Miles, his head writer, and everybody over there is liberal. You know what I mean? But I come over, they're like the staff. They like me. Jimmy's been great. So yeah, I mean, I think the guy's the best.
Yeah, awesome. And that's the Barbershop Quartet for people who don't know.
Watch me give it to you.
Cool jewelry shining so bright. Strawberry champagne on ice.
That's something that you do like for real too, right? Like is that a real passion of yours, this Barbershop Quartet style? Because I've seen you do it a lot of times, and it seems authentic.
I'm backing up, backing up, backing up.
Like you're really doing it. You're not.
Yeah, it's our. You know, we've been singing together. I got a quartet called Scully Square. We started singing in high school, so that'd be 1984, and then that actual quartet, it was just a bunch of buddies who sang together in the bathroom. Then we put together the quartet. So from 86 to now, we've been singing together.
Nice boy, swell boy,
But now they're saying he's not a well boy. He just isn't the same somehow.
But we still get together and sing. And, you know, we're not that great, but we've been doing it for so long. We better be marginally talented at it.
I always enjoy it every time I see you do it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, you ready for some hot topics?
Hot topics.
All right, the tearing down of statues. What do you think of that?
I'm against it in every case. And yes, that includes Stonewall Jackson. You don't have to like Stonewall Jackson, but you look at his statue and you say, oh, that guy was in the Confederacy? You learn, dummy.
Joe Biden in the basement.
He's got to get out of the basement at some point, but he's got some trouble and I don't think it's because of the dementia thing. He needs to do the shelter in place because everyone on the left is running scared. So if he comes out, they're going to say, get back in the basement. So at some point he's got to get out. I don't know when he's going to do
it. Cancel culture.
I mean, it's so over the top now. We just had Salman Rushdie and J.K. Rowling write that letter, and they said cancel culture it was the most reasonable letter, and they put it in the Atlantic, and everybody attacked them. Now they're all canceled for coming out against cancel culture.
I think you already answered this one, but wearing masks.
I'm anti-mask, but again, I'm not obnoxious about it. I don't throw tantrums. I carry one in my pocket. If I have to go into Home Depot and get something, and if they don't say you have to put it on, I don't put it on. But if they say put it on, I put it on. But otherwise, I will not wear a mask outside, ever, ever. I don't care who you are. You can't make me put a mask on outside. You're stupid if you're at the beach in a mask.
We got two more here. Woke celebrities.
Oh, I mean, what other kind is there? The only kind of celebrity I like now is, is like Scott Baio or who else is there? I mean, these are the people they used to make fun of. Scott Baio and Dean Cain. These are the cool guys. They're cool because they have a sense of themselves and they don't care what other people think about them.
Right. And finally, we did touch on this a little bit, but Kanye West for president. What's your thoughts on that?
He could be the most powerful man in America. If you think about it, Kanye they're telling Kanye, don't run because you'll change the election. Well, what kind of statement is that? I mean, what a way to use your power. I'm a black man and I can change the election just by announcing I'm running, whether he's serious about it or not. So that's power right there. And he should hold on to that. And he should say, oh, really? Democrats, you want me to drop out? What are you going to do about it? And he should make demands. We'll see if he does.
I like that take on it. Tom Shillue, you're awesome. I want to give a shout out to Taz, our mutual friend, for helping make this happen. Yeah, she's awesome.
Did she do the sketch for Three's Company, the show?
I think she drew that. That's also that show too on Gov's Radio. Maybe she'll make a sketch of us right now doing.
I would assume that there will be one forthcoming.
Well, she's awesome. You rock. People could find you at TomShillue.com.
Easy to find, and TomShillue.com also easy to find on Facebook. And we've been doing these happy hours where we drink cocktails and we do trivia. And it's with the different Fox News stars. We've got another one tomorrow night, and it's at, I think at 6 p.m., but it'll be on Facebook, so you can find it. It's on the Fox Nation Facebook page, and it'll also be on my Facebook page, but it's the Fox Nation Happy Hour.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I know you are a busy man, and really great stuff. So thanks again, Tom, and we will talk to you soon, my friend.
Thanks a lot.
What? Come on now.